John Liddle here for SWOSUathletics.com. We are previewing football season with the head coach of the Bulldogs, Dan Cocannouer. And we've also got a couple player interviews coming up. Stay tuned for Tyler George and Nate Butler as well. Well, Coach Cocannouer, 3-7 last year, close to a couple more wins. You told your guys after spring practice, there's no doubt this was a better team in spring practice than you were in the fall. What made you feel that way?
I just felt like the overall atmosphere of the whole thing. I mean, you know, they were just like I was. We were embarrassed last year. I mean, as far as our record, I mean, we played so well so many times, and then it just didn't come out for us. And we were such a better football team. And I still today, I feel like that we were a lot better football team than our record showed. And I mean, that comes here and there. I mean, we got to go past that now. But I just felt like that the kids and the players really understood as far as when we came back after Christmas and got into off season. You know, we had a big transition going from Coach Hyde to Coach Jackson when Coach Hyde left us, and I just felt like that our kids stepped it up. I mean, they really stepped it up. Coach Jackson did a great job as far as replacing, and then I felt like it carried right over into the spring football. I felt like that what I saw in spring football, our defense is going to be just as good. I felt like last year our defense played well enough for us to win 6 of those 7 ball games. And but also, big thing we really noticed was that our offense this spring is that we're able to move the ball. And, you know, we were able to score a few touchdowns, you know, and a lot of times, you know, a lot of the players, and like Nate and the ones you're going to be talking with, they'll let you know that, you know, we haven't done that in the past. And so that was a good sign for us as far as the kids, as far as their atmosphere and their attitude about as far as the season, which makes it very exciting for us coaches, I promise you that.
Well, the very public battle and the one that we'll have tunnel vision toward over the first few weeks of fall practice will certainly be your quarterback spot. Now you're looking at Mark Evans, you're looking at Brooks Robertson as well. I know always a possibility of Clark Ashmore stepping in there. He started some games last year, but you guys would like to see one of those older type guys step up. So where do you feel that quarterback battle is heading into fall practice?
Well, I feel like they know what's on the line. I believe all the 3 quarterbacks, we started out with 7 in spring ball and ended up with 3, which is what I wanted to do. Yeah. And we did that. I think all 3 of those guys understand as far as how important that position is to us. I mean, you know, a lot of things took place last year, and nothing against Riley, nothing against Clark. I mean, we just couldn't get it done, and that's how important that position is for us. So I just feel like that they saw after spring football that they realized that what it's going to take for them to start, and I really stress that to them a lot. I mean, really. You know, we got to have a guy that we're going to go out on the field, that we're going to move the chains. You know, we're not going to force it over. You know, last year, 19 interceptions and only 6 touchdowns. You know, that's unacceptable. I don't care for a peewee team. I'm just telling you that right now. So, you know, we're hoping that number changes over, and it will. And it will. And I saw a lot of great things for that. But I look forward to the battle. I really do. I think it's going to be a great battle for that position. We got a couple of freshmen kids coming in, you know, seniors in high school that I think will kind of surprise us too. So I look forward to the battle. I think it's going to be the first 2 weeks of practice when we come in on camp are going to be very interesting.
Dan Cocannouer, the head coach of the Bulldogs. Now, coach, in any level of football, I don't care if it's peewee all the way up to the highest level of professional football, the play caller gets a lot of the attention and they get a lot of the scrutiny as well. And you've taken that upon yourself, calling the plays again this year. In what ways are you looking forward to that? In what ways do you feel that pressure?
Oh, I don't know. I just love that the whole, it's almost like a chess game to me when you're calling the game. I mean, you know, a lot of people say, well, do you script it? I've scripted and had 15 plays, and after the second play, threw the script out, you know. So, and, you know, to me, it's on a gut type of feeling as far as what you want to do. And that's one thing I feel like that what was great for us this spring is I just love the way that Coach Garfield and Coach Iskey fit in. We'd sit down every day and talk about practice, everything that we want to do. And, you know, I think they understand what I'm looking at, and I think that when we get all on the same page on that, it's going to be good. I look forward to it. I mean, it's something that I did it for years, and I gave it up for the last 3 years, and I just feel like that, you know, it's time for me to do it again, and I look forward to it, and it was a great spring.
Now, as far as the offensive line goes, that is just such an unheralded position, yet at the same time, it's just so important, and you've made an important change there, bringing in Coach Iskey, and we're going to talk with Nate Butler about this in a few minutes, but what do you like about what the offensive line is doing and what Coach Iskey's trying to do with that offensive line that can help you be successful this year?
I mean, you know, that was a tough one when the season over. We had to make changes. I mean, that, you know, no coach likes to do that, but I'm very fortunate. I got a guy that came in that, you know, I like a lot of things, and sometimes, you know, you get in a rut where you need a change, and I think we were in that stage overall, and especially on the offensive side. So we made that change, and I just felt like that even the players I saw as far as a little bit different attitude as far as out there on the field, and I think they responded to it well. They responded to it well. I mean a person that's been coaching them ever since they got here is no longer there. We put in another person, but I just think that the kids they saw as far as what we're all in there about as far as winning. As far as the techniques and stuff right in here that we do, but I just think they accepted as far as the change, just like anything else, sometimes change is real good, and it was good for us.
Now, quarterback spot wide open, like we said. The running back spot kind of seems to be that way as well. You got a bunch of guys and hoping to find one or two that you can lean upon.
I think of all the positions on the football field, offense and defensively, I think that's going to be the biggest competition. I really do. I think that we only recruited one high school kid to come in. I mean, that's how thick, as far as depth we are on that. And so, and I think it's going to be a battle. I mean, I know Matt Ferris played a bunch. He had a great spring. He showed us some things. We were kind of concerned about some stuff that he did. He showed us on that. We got Cartrell Henderson. He came back out after missing a whole season. Academics, but then we get some other guys coming in there. We've got a couple of kids that transferred in. We've got a couple of freshman kids that are outstanding, and so I think to me that's going to be the biggest. That's probably about as fun to watch as any of the positions is, because how the depth is, and it's going to be one where you put the ball on the ground, there's somebody else going to be out there, and you may never get another chance. So it's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be fun to watch.
Well, we'll certainly be training our eyes on that, as well as the defense as well. Coach Gibson's defense, second year for him. And he gets an opportunity to kind of see the fruits of his labor, I suppose. I know there's not Devin Benton out there this year, and I don't think anybody's really searching for that next Devin Benton. But what you said the defense can be as good. What do you see that makes you feel that way?
Well, I think the biggest thing, and like I said, you can't replace Devin Benton. I mean, one of the greatest football players I've ever had a chance to be around and coach and everything. Just love the young man. But one thing that I've really noticed in the springtime was that when Devin Benton plays, you get a lot of this guys going, where's Devin? Okay, let's watch you, Devin. And now, guys like Jake Doyle and Ward and some of these other guys, now they're having to make those plays. Mm-hmm. And I think that's kind of lifted up their game a little bit as far. I really did. I thought though Ward and Jake Doyle, I think those guys, they picked it up in the springtime, but so did some of the other ones too. I feel like that made a big plus. And like I said, we lost a great football player, but I just think that, yeah, we lost one, but I think we probably gained about 3, maybe 4 other guys that are going to be able to step it up and make a difference on our defense.
Well, what's your thought about this conference this year? My thought is it's going to be pretty wide open. What does the head coach think?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I hope everybody picks us last.
Absolutely.
That's where you want to be. But I do. I think we got a great chance for it. I take a look at the teams in there, and Doug Self, our SID, we've talked about it before, and I always give whoever won it, I always give them the nod. So I give Washita on that part, but I take a look as far as what people have lost, what people have gained. I feel like that there's a couple of Oklahoma schools that are going to be a little bit tougher this year than they were in the past, but I also feel like there's a couple of Arkansas schools that may not be near as tough. I mean, it's going to be one where it's been that way ever since I've been coaching in this league right in here, and that's what I love about it, is that the team that goes out there and plays the hardest and makes the fewest mistakes is going to win. And I think Washita Baptist showed that last year going undefeated. I mean, you talked to Coach Knight and that bunch there, and I said, guys, that's unbelievable. And they go, tell us about it. It's all smoke and mirrors to them, because we don't know how we did it. But again, they played solid football, didn't make mistakes, and they won a lot of games that way. And so I feel like we got a team that's going to compete. I mean, they're going to hear me talk about as far as competing for the conference championship the first day, and we won't talk about it again. I mean, we got to go back to the point where we got to take one game at a time. I mean, we can't worry about anything else. We got to do one game at a time. Instead of, well, okay, we win this one, we'll get a chance. No, take one game at a one, and by about the second week of practice, it's going to be Southern Arkansas all the way.
Absolutely. And that game is coming up on September 5th. Coach Cocannouer, we appreciate your time,
Appreciate it, John. Thank you, buddy.
Good luck in fall practice.
Thanks, buddy.
And we're back with Tyler George, senior linebacker for the SWOSU Bulldog football team. Tyler, coming off a season where he was able to play 6 last year, started 3, of course, was a staple in the lineup before that, expected to be a starter again this year. Tyler, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you for having me.
Well, let's talk about the health. How are you feeling going into this year?
Man, I've been training all summer, and I feel like I'm back to 100%, so pretty excited.
That's great to hear. That's great to hear. Second year in the system.
Yeah.
For you, Was there any point at which a light switch came on with this system, or was it just making little tweaks from the 4-2-5 that Coach Helton had before?
Now I think like towards the end of the year last year, I really started getting hold of it, and I figured it out. I figured out the defense really well last year, and I feel like this year we kind of went over a few things and 7-on-7 and stuff like that, and I feel like I've got this defense down now. I feel like it's going to be a big year
Is there
for the
any,
team.
pardon me, any specific part of it that was giving you problems, whether it was fills or drops, or what was it for you?
Man, my coverage is always, I can usually stop the run pretty good. My
Yeah.
coverage has always been like my biggest problem, but I feel like I've been working on that a bunch this season, and 7-on-7 and stuff. I feel like I've been working on it, so maybe I can give me a pick or something this year. I don't know.
I bet you can.
Hopefully.
It seems like the thing we always ask seniors is, can you believe it's your senior year? And I think for us that have watched you, we can't believe it's your senior year because, you know, we've been watching you from the beginning. But has that set in for you yet?
Man, it's just weird. I mean, I just can't believe it's my last year of, you know, playing ball. It goes by so fast, and you know, tell all the freshmen that, you know, cherish every time you get up here because it flies by. It really does. Just make the most of every chance you get out there.
Well, as you mentioned a few moments ago, you feel like the defense is going to be really strong this season. Now, I was just looking at the linebacking core, and I always like to include Tanner. I know he's a DB, but, you know, I include Tanner in that as well, kind of that rover linebacker. So, but that linebacking core has a chance to be just so solid, maybe the center of the defense this year. What do you feel about the linebackers?
Man, I think every single linebacker we got, even some of the freshmen, like, you know, Colton Wright, I mean, everybody that's could step up, everybody that's going to step up this year, it's just going to be, they're all going to make a big impact. Even on special teams and like jumping in, any Sam linebacker or Will linebacker, they're going to jump in and do just as good as any of us, you know, anybody who's going to start. You know, it's going to be a battle for the starting spot. You know, I feel like it's going to be a heck of a year for all the backers. I think any of them is going to step up and do a dang good job.
Well, I know last year going into it, we were thinking, you know, probably you guys went too deep there at the linebacking core, just extremely solid, but injuries happen.
Yeah.
You know, things happen, little nicks and scrapes there. It would be nice to have 3 deep, even at those 2 linebacker spots, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would. It definitely would. Just to kind of help out if anything crazy like that happens. But hopefully we all stay healthy this year and we have the, you know, best defense in the GAC.
Well, as far as the GAC goes, let's talk about it. You've got some teams up at the top of the league that lost some really key members, you know, just to graduation, things like that. You've got, I'm kind of thinking of Harding, Henderson, Ouachita Baptist, some of those teams that were up at the top last year that have lost some key pieces. In what way does this team maybe feel like the league's wide open this season?
I'm just going to let you know, we're going to shock this season. This is going to be a big one for us. I have a good feeling about it. I don't want to lose it again, to be honest. So hopefully we can go in and win every game out and make the playoffs. That's what I'm shooting for. I hope everybody gets on the bus and rides along with me because that's what we want to do. And Cocannouer, I'm sure, thinks the same thing about it. Just want to get on and win every game.
Well, Tyler, thanks so much for your time. We look forward to that happening.
Thank you.
And we're back with Nate Butler, senior lineman, offensive lineman for the Southwestern Bulldog football team here on our football preview. And Nate, we were just talking before we went on, 21 straight games you started at center for this team since coming in from Abilene Christian, and you're making a position change this year. Tell us about that.
Yes, sir. So we brought Coach Iskey in this offseason, and me and Zach Britton just sat down and talked with him and talked about he was playing a little guard and tackle, and he said, you know, he played a lot of center in high school, and he would like to try that out here. So we talked to him and asked if we could do a little position switch. So we tried that out in spring football, and it worked great. So I've been at left guard, and he's been at center.
Well, and how does that play to your strengths, do you think?
I just think at the guard position, you can be a little bit more aggressive, pull more and stuff, and I tend to play pretty aggressive, and sometimes my snaps were getting away from me these past years just from being so aggressive. And Zach feels more comfortable at the center position. He came into spring ball, didn't have one bad snap, and that says a lot with not playing center in 3 years. And for me, just snapping was such a tedious task for me to do, and now that I'm just at guard, I can just feel like I can just free flow and go out and just hit people.
It's like
awesome.
You spread your wings,
Yes.
and you're just flying again. That's great. Well, you brought it up, the change there at the offensive line coaching spot, Coach Iskey coming in. What are some of the things that we're going to notice as fans when we look at the work the offensive line does this year, maybe versus years past?
Yeah, so we have pretty much a whole new O-line. So we have a bunch of young guys stepping up in a lot of competition, and he's utilized that. We've changed like the way we run zone a little bit. We've changed our pass protection schemes, and I think it's just benefiting our younger guys more and just being able to set them up for great success.
In what way did you feel like you saw some, I guess, benefits of that in spring practice?
Just the way we run our pass pro. If one of our younger guys is struggling, or you see a blitz package coming, we can slide our blocking schemes to pick that up. And just the way we block zone, it's taking D-line's momentum, and just it's just an easier style of blocking.
Excellent. Well, offense as a whole, obviously you're going to be breaking in a new quarterback this year, pretty much no matter who starts most likely. So as you look at the guys that you were helping to bring along during the spring this year, and you had Mark and Brooks, what do you think about those guys and what they bring to the offense?
I think those are two guys that are going to have a lot of competition to do this fall camp, and one of them is going to prevail, and I think our O-line is really solid right now, so during fall camp we're going to give them a lot of time to throw the ball around and just get a ton of reps in to see who's on top.
One thing that coaches always say, it's a favorite, they love competition in fall practice, that it carries over into fall, that spots aren't solidified necessarily. Do the coaches, or do the players, I should say, in what way do they see that as well, competition being a good thing?
I just think, I've gone through a lot of competition battles, and you just got to work your hardest, to get that starting spot. And you're never a starter when there's someone just as good as you behind you, and you're always working hard. You're never relaxing. You're never complacent or anything like that.
You personally, what do you want to see from Nate Butler by the time we hit September 5th on the field at Southern Arkansas? Where are you mentally? Where are you physically? In what way are you ready to go? What do you see?
Yeah, I've lost about 15 pounds since last season, and I'm wanting to lose about 5 more pounds. And I'm always just looking to get, bigger, stronger, and faster. I just want to know my playbook solid and just have no hiccups and stuff, so I can be the leader of that O-line. So if any guys have time to ask questions, or if we ever have any quarterback confusion while rotating quarterbacks during fall camp, I can go in and just help them out with the blitz packages that I see.
Can't wait for it, man. Football's almost here, and we appreciate your time.
Yes, appreciate it.
That's Nate Butler from Southlake, Texas, senior lineman, offensive lineman for the Southwestern Bulldogs in the SWOSU season. It's rapidly approaching. They start off the season September 5th at Southern Arkansas. Then the next week, the home opener, the Fast Lane Kickoff Classic, and we hope you're out here for it. John Liddle for SWOSUathletics.com.